Good evening and welcome to our virtual celebration of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association recipients. Today we recognize 212 of our graduating seniors for their academic achievements at Coon Rapids High School. The Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association has awarded scholarships since 1966 and totaling over $4 million. The generosity of our community is amazing and much appreciated in the challenges that we are currently experiencing. Please take note of these local businesses and their ongoing support of our school and our community. This evening, our donors have provided over $240,000 to this year's graduating class. Class of 2021, along with your parents and loved ones, congratulations on your academic successes. Continue to be lifelong learners on your journey that models integrity, loyalty, kindness, and empathy and compassion to others. We wish you happiness and continued successes in your futures. Thank you again to our donors as well as the hard work and commitment of the members of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association. This evening is representative of the unique community that we have as Coon Rapids and the love that we have for each other and for our students in building the future of our city. Thank you again to all of our donors. We much appreciate you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association Award Ceremony. My name is Jim Best, the president of CRCSA, and on behalf of my colleagues, I'm happy you're tuning in to join us. CRCSA is a volunteer organization, and this is our 56th awards ceremony. Once again, my colleague and past president of CRCSA, Howard Helgen, and I will share the MC duties. Like last year, due to the pandemic, we're coming to you pre-recorded via the generosity and technological expertise of local cable network CTN. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to Neil Hennon and everyone at CTN whose efforts make this award ceremony possible. A special thank you to Anoka Hennepin District 11, especially Dr. David Law, in my opinion the finest superintendent in the state, Debbie Kofsky, Dr. Law's administrative assistant, and Jim Skelly, the most helpful director of communications for District 11. Thank you to staff at Coon Rapids High School, administrators, counselors, teachers, paraprofessionals, administrative professionals, health professionals, custodial staff, nutrition services, coaches and activity leaders, and others for their efforts to support the students. During a Zoom call with scholarship recipients a few weeks ago, school counselors and I provided a bit of history about the association and shared with students their extraordinarily good fortune to be graduates of Coon Rapids High School, where they have the support of such a caring and incredibly generous community. That said, having just experienced economic uncertainty as a result of the worst pandemic in 100 years, we anticipated, in all likelihood, a reduction, and perhaps a significant reduction, in financial support and resulting funds available for scholarships. However, in an incredible show of support, it is my honor to announce that through the generosity of concerned individuals, businesses, foundations, and community organizations, this year we will not only award the most scholarships in the history of CRCSA, but we'll be awarding the greatest amount of money by far in scholarship support. I'm going to restate that. After everything experienced in the last 14 months or so, thanks to the support of our generous donors, we will be awarding a record number of scholarships, 212 in all, for an all-time high amount, just over $242,000. Simply amazing. Consider for a moment that in our first year, 1966, we awarded 24 scholarships for a total amount of just over $4,000. From 24 to 212, and from 4,000 to 242,000. Amazing indeed. As I mentioned, CRCSA is a volunteer organization. I'm proud to be associated with the organization and the good people I've gotten to know. Please allow me to introduce the members of the Scholarship Association. Jill Appel, Stephanie Best, John Bump, Julia Cornel Smith, Ashley Gerard, Howard Helgen, Sharon Legg, Bob McCann, Cindy Miller, Gail Owen, Elvina Powell, Bob Powell, Bill Reichenborn, John Sabo, Judy Sabo, John Sanders, Gary Smith, and Amy Storick. It takes significant planning and coordination for this event to take place. Everyone in the association is committed and works very hard, but I'd like to recognize several members for their time and exceptional effort. Julia Cornel Smith and Amy Storick are guidance counselors at the high school, and the job of communicating, coordinating, and organizing the student applications is a lot of work. It is largely through their efforts that we're awarding more scholarships this year than ever before. Ashley Gerard does just about everything involved with putting this program together, and it's a big, big job. As always, Ashley handles it efficiently with tireless professionalism and grace. She is the best in the business, and we're fortunate to have her. Gail Owen and John Sanders are our treasurers, and they handle and process the huge volume of donations we receive and expertly keep track of CRCSA's financial record keeping. Sharon Legg joined us a year or so ago, and we're delighted for her assistance helping Gail, John, and Ashley collect, process, and track the many donations we receive. Bob Powell is the secretary for the association and has the challenging job of keeping track of meeting minutes to keep us organized. Bob does a terrific job, and I want to thank him for his dedication. A special thank you to Bob Powell and Bill Reichenborn for their efforts to maintain and monitor the aluminum can collection receptacle in the parking lot of the high school. This is a very good fundraiser for CRCSA, and we appreciate their work. And we also appreciate everyone who donates cans. The funds raised go directly to the scholarship effort. And to Bob McCann and his business, Mailing Solutions, Inc., for the generous gift of services. This is most appreciated and means more of what we raise goes directly towards scholarship for students rather than expenses. That's it for the opening remarks and setting the stage. Now, the main event, the Scholarship Awards. As I mentioned earlier, Howard Helgen and I will be sharing the MC duties tonight. A few quick things before we begin. Many people have done their very best to assure that gifts for named scholarships are acknowledged in the awards ceremony and that all gifts received are noted in the graduation program. However, due to cutoff dates for printing and rare but occasional inadvertent oversight, omissions sometimes occur. If that happens, we always try to make it right. Therefore, I would like to mention that a gift from the Anoka Edward Jones office was inadvertently omitted from last year's fourfold brochure of gifts received. Please accept my apology and know that all gifts, whether it be for $10 or $10,000, are most appreciated and are used to benefit students. Like last year, we're delighted to have some short videos for a number of memorial scholarships. We appreciate the heartfelt expression and acknowledge the donor's loss and sadness. CRCSA is honored to have the opportunity to present these scholarships. And lastly, we have requested and received phonetic spelling help from students, and will do the best we can to pronounce everyone's names. But in the most likely event we mispronounce anyone's name, please accept this as a preemptive apology. Okay, here we go with the first scholarship of the evening. Elias Abshir receives the Alan and Therese Hamill and CRCSA Scholarship. For the next scholarship, the Marilyn Lutz Memorial Scholarship, we have a short video.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning. morning. Praise for them springing fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness.
And the recipient of the Marilyn Lutz Memorial Scholarship funded by Cindy Miller is Sarah Agbula. Rana Ahmed receives the Shirley and Merrill Gullier Memorial Scholarship funded by David and Barb Gullier, Lucas and Kayla Gullier, Christine and Avi Kanal, and CRCSA. Faiza Ukiri receives the Terry Kirsting in memory of Darlene and Edward Landris Scholarship. Reina El Masoudi receives the scholarship from Toys for Joy Incorporated and CRCSA. Kauthar Al-Quiquani receives the James Page and Sharon Hall Scholarship. The Coon Rapids Super Senior Club goes to Manar Alamari. A new donor this year is New Creations Child Care and Learning Center. Their scholarship, along with CRCSA, goes to Olivia Allen. We're going to hear more about this scholarship as we go along, and there will be a video later in the program. But the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial, funded by Cindy Miller, goes to Carly Allison. Cole Elfin receives the Harlan Thurston Foundation Educational Scholarship from Harlan Thurston Foundation and CRCSA. Mozat Amoko receives the Ryan Ostendorf and CRCSA Scholarship. I'll turn it over to you for this one, Howard.
Well, thank you, Jim. During the evening, we'll be making a few remarks about some of the scholarships, and our next scholarship is in that category. Sharon Keller was a longtime teacher and coach at Coon Rapids High School, and for many, many years, she's given a scholarship to a deserving student from Coon Rapids. And this year, the recipient of the Sharon Keller Scholarship, along with CRCSA, is Audrey Anderson. Turn it back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Howard. Tonight, we'll also be hearing from a number of donors who fund a number of scholarships. One of them is a longtime donor to CRCSA, the Connexus Energy Foundation. Their first scholarship is awarded to Isabel Anton. The next scholarship is funded by the Northwest Suburban Kiwanis as a memorial to Lewis Peterson. Lewis Peterson was a longtime assistant principal at Coon Rapids High School. He was very active in the community and was a friend of many. Lewis was a neighbor and friend of mine and sadly passed away in 2018. He is missed, but fondly remembered by his friends and family. The Northwest Suburban Kiwanis Scholarship as a memorial to Lewis Peterson this year goes to Vanessa Badu. Joshua Bouch receives the Anoka Hennepin Education Office Professionals and CRCSA Scholarship. Alexi Johnson and CRCSA fund the scholarship for Sophia Bickle. Here's another one that we'll have a video for. It's the Jerry Peterson Scholarship funded by the Peterson family.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? hallelujah. Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? Or to my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah?
And the recipient of the Jerry Peterson Scholarship funded by the Peterson family is Alexander Billy. Colt Bodick receives a scholarship funded by Carolyn Page. Megan Borderding is the recipient of a scholarship funded by Dr. Mark O. Kelly on behalf of Gerald and Dolores Kelly Scholarship. Jackson Bornis receives the Rosand Family Scholarship funded by Stan and Jeanette Rosand. Terry Kirsting funds a scholarship for the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial, and that scholarship goes to Tyler Burgoyne. Olivia Boyce receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Super Senior Club. Ryan Bradeen receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Swim and Dive Booster Club and CRCSA. Leah Borgendale Jansen funds a scholarship in memory of Kim Relke, and along with CRCSA, that scholarship is awarded to Jenna Breams. Garrett Brunette is a recipient of a scholarship from the Cardinal Hockey Red Line Club and CRCSA. A scholarship that is awarded annually is in memory of our former colleague Bruce Frank. It's funded by Nancy and David Goldstein, who are the sister and brother-in-law of our friend and longtime CRCSA member Bruce Frank. Bruce sadly passed away in 2018. Once again, Nancy and David have generously funded a scholarship in Bruce's memory, and this year's recipient is Hannah Bum. Another new donor this year is Milestone Orthodontics. They're giving out the Milestone Orthodontics Achievement Award along with CRCSA, and the recipient is Megan Bussey. Cairo Cardenas Lazos receives a scholarship from the Morris Bay Elementary PTO and CRCSA. For the next scholarship, we'll have a video. It's the Tammy Bayer Memorial.
Hello everyone, we are the Bayer family and we are honored to present the Tammy Bayer Memorial Scholarship tonight. Tammy Bayer was a beloved second grade teacher at Hoover Elementary School for over 20 years. She was passionate about educating the next generation as well as ensuring that each of her students felt loved and appreciated. Unfortunately, Mrs. Bayer passed away in September of 2017, leaving us far too soon. She was only 45 years old. As her family, we wanted to find a way to honor her legacy, which is why this scholarship was created. We look forward to presenting this scholarship every year to one of her students until the last class of Mrs. Bayer's second graders graduates. Congratulations to this year's recipient. We know Mrs. Bayer is so proud of you.
Tammy Bayer was a teacher in the Anoka-Hennepin district for 22 years, the last 18 as an admired and respected second grade teacher at Hoover Elementary in Coon Rapids. Sadly, Tammy passed away in 2017 at only age 45, and her family and friends created a scholarship to benefit students she taught as they graduate. The scholarship this year from Tammy Bayer Memorial and CRCSA on behalf of Ryan, Tammy's husband, and their 3 children, Kaylee, Drew, and Chloe, goes to Carly Cedarstrand. Savannah Comstock receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Amelia Conley receives a scholarship from the Rothstein Family Scholarship in memory of Peter Rothstein and CRCSA. Anya Connett receives a scholarship from the Connexus Energy Foundation. Amanda Crotty is the recipient of a scholarship from Dr. Daniel, Janet, and Russell Feeney, Emeritus Professor of Vet Radiology at the U of M. Dr. Daniel and Janet Feeney are former CRCSA members, and we appreciate their continued support. The Egan Family Scholarship and CRCSA provide a scholarship to Aaron Davis. Haley Dunnell receives the Elva P. Ottness Trust Scholarship along with CRCSA. CRCSA provides a scholarship to Mamadou Dibba. The Coughlin family provides a scholarship in the family's name, and it's funded by Ann and Dan, Elaine, graduated in 2005, Teresa in 2008, and Hector Mendoza, Daniel in 2010 along with Katie, Michael in 2013, Stephen in 2013, and Katie in 2014, and Joseph in 2017. That scholarship goes to Elizabeth Durkheising. The Coughlin family funds a second scholarship, and that goes to Isabel Durkheising. Thank you to the Coughlin family. Andrei Dimov receives the Geraldine Peterson Memorial Scholarship, funded by Cindy Miller. Isra Deary receives a scholarship from the Border State Bank and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids High School Boys Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA provide a scholarship to Jordan Doe. Vanessa Downs receives a scholarship from the Rasmussen Northeast Bank Foundation and CRCSA. We'll turn it over to you for a scholarship, Howard.
Well, thank you, Jim. Some of our members have sadly passed away over the years, and the next scholarship is the Helm Family Scholarship. And Liz Helm was a very stalwart member of our association for many, many years. She died in 2009 at age 81, and in memory of her husband, R.W. Bill Helm, her children Mary and Peter Duryea have issued a scholarship, and this one is going to Jacob Dunlop.
Thanks, Howard.
Back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Howard. Adam Duran receives the scholarship from the Coon Rapids Community Strength Foundation and CRCSA. The Mississippi Elementary PTO and CRCSA provide a scholarship to Matthew Ellenson. Another scholarship from the very generous Coughlin Family Foundation goes to Madison England. The Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League provide a scholarship to Dominic Espinosa. Emma Fitzgerald receives a scholarship from an anonymous donor and CRCSA. Aaron Fitzsimmons receives the Harlan Thurston Foundation Educational Scholarship along with CRCSA. The Coon Rapids High School Dance Team Booster Club and CRCSA fund a scholarship for Emily Flatham. A number of the scholarships are quite personal to the CRCSA members, and this one is no exception. Julia Cornel Smith is a counselor at Coon Rapids High School and a dedicated CRCSA member. Sadly, Julia's father, Tom Cornel, passed away last December. Tom was the pride of Wilmer and a dedicated and highly respected teacher, coach, and businessman. He was an avid Wilmer sports fan, a tireless volunteer, and a force for good who lived by the golden rule. But most of all, Tom was a beloved husband, father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend to those who knew and loved him and miss him so much. In a bit of serendipity, it is interesting to note that the Wilmer High School mascot is, like Coon Rapids, the Cardinal. It is with pride and thanks to Julia Cornel Smith that we award the Tom Cornel Memorial Scholarship to Tyler Force. Madison Frank receives the scholarship from Derek Ellingson and CRCSA. And another Harlan Thurston Foundation Educational Scholarship along with CRCSA goes to Hunter Franta. Howard, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thanks, Jim. And if we were in the auditorium, we'd probably be taking a break right now and having the students line up, but we're not going to get any break, so here we go. But I do want to say a couple things about, for the audience watching tonight, they may wonder, well, how do we award the scholarships? Do we just kind of get around and decide how we do this? But it's based on a blind system, as you know, and so it's based 75% on academic achievement and 25% on school activities. And the guidance department, Amy and Julia do a great job of putting that all together for us. And so it's all done on a point system, and basically the more points you get, the higher your scholarship is. So that's how it works, and so the efforts of the students are rewarded. So we'll plunge ahead with the other scholarships here. The Harlan Thurston Foundation Educational Scholarship and CRCSA goes to Olivia Fritchie. Alexis Gullan receives the Michael and Brenda Helm Scholarship in memory of Elizabeth Helm. And as I mentioned earlier, Liz Helm was our stalwart member, and this is the second scholarship in memory of the Helm family. Carlos Gay receives the Connexus Energy Foundation Scholarship. Esther Budamosi receives a scholarship donated by Tom Kiekhofer. Sina Galetto receives a scholarship from Mercy Hospital medical staff and CRCSA. Green Bay Packaging and the George Kress Foundation and CRCSA award a scholarship to Jada George. And our members, Gail Owen and John Sanders, who you mentioned, Jim, work a great job as our treasurer duo. In honor of their children, Jane Sanders, who graduated in 2000, and Libby Sanders Hesch, who graduated in 2005, award a scholarship to John Gerard. Michael and Maria King and CRCSA award a scholarship to Tanner Ginter. Anna Giese receives a scholarship from Ian, Alan, Jamie, and David Law in memory of James Law. Benjamin Gifford receives a scholarship from an anonymous donor and CRCSA. Ella Georgie receives the Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club Scholarship, also given by CRCSA. The Coon Rapids Rotary Club, of which I'm a proud member, gives a scholarship along with CRCSA to Megan Jersted. Catherine Godis receives the Toys for Joy Inc. and CRCSA scholarship. The Anoka Hennepin Elementary and Secondary Principals Association and CRCSA give a scholarship to Esther Gonzalez. Transformative Circle and CRCSA award a scholarship to Jasmine Gray. Then our next scholarship is the Karen Copa Honorary Scholarship. Karen Copa was a longtime member of the association in the early days, and for many years she would come down for all the award ceremonies, and this year, of course, we're virtual, so she's not here. But every year the association grants a scholarship in her honor, and this year it goes to Mary Greaves. Emily Griffin receives a scholarship donated by Corey Skiba in memory of Tel Yell and Ronald Burgess, also given by CRCSA. The Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and the Coon Rapids Girls Fast Pitch Booster Club award a scholarship to Reagan Hawk. Alicia Hamill receives the Coon Rapids Police Association and CRCSA scholarship. Janet Reichenborg Pearson and CRCSA give a scholarship to Ethan Hansen. And Rachel Hansen receives the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 scholarship. Elena Hedlund receives a scholarship from Coon Rapids High School Girls Hockey Booster Club and CRCSA. Our next scholarship is another memorial scholarship. This scholarship is the Sue Scott Memorial Scholarship. Ron Scott, Sue's father, was a Coon Rapids football coach back from about 1965 until the 1980s. And during that time period, Coon Rapids really had some powerhouse football teams. And Sue's mother, Karen Scott, was a member of our scholarship association, and she was the one that contacted Bruce Frank and got Bruce to come to a meeting in the Scholarship Association. So the Scott family has been instrumental in the life of this association. Sue graduated from Coon Rapids High School in 1976 and was a marketing professional in the hearing industry for many years. Sadly, she passed away in October 2017 at the age of 59. So now we will hear a short video for the Sue Scott Memorial.
The Susan Scott Scholarship will be given in memory of Susan Scott, who graduated from Coon Rapids High School. She was an honor athlete, two-sport student, and graduated from St. Cloud University with a degree in photochemical engineering and marketing.
This year's recipient of the Sue Scott Memorial Scholarship, also awarded by CRCSA, is Elizabeth Hines. Terry Kirsting has also funded the Joe Miller Aloha Hero Memorial Scholarship. This recipient is Emma Heeman. K-Dance Hin receives the scholarship from Kelly and Deb Becker and CRCSA. Ilsa Hoagland receives a scholarship given by Angie Tan and CRCSA. Zoe Hoagland receives a scholarship from the Lauer Family Fund, Greg Lauer and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA award a scholarship to Mason Holland. The Motaz and Sisk Injury Law Firm and CRCSA award a scholarship to Emily Holloway. The Coon Rapids Girls Soccer Booster Club and CRCSA award a scholarship to Lila Hosek. Jim, I'm going to give you the next one.
Thanks, Howard. A new donor to CRCSA this year is Two Wheels for Heroes. Two Wheels for Heroes is a veteran-based nonprofit organization centered around motorcycles that has been serving veterans and their families to enrich lives since 2008. Over the past few years, they have started funding some scholarships locally to help children and grandchildren of veterans. We're delighted to welcome Two Wheels for Heroes as a supporter to CRCSA. Their scholarship is in remembrance of Coon Rapids High School alumni Jackie Rozak. Jackie was an instrumental supporter of Two Wheels for Heroes for many years. And this year, the Two Wheels for Heroes scholarship recipient is Hallie Huddle. I'll turn it back to you, Howard.
Thanks, Jim. The Anoka Hennepin Para Educators Association and CRCSA awards a scholarship to Trevor Hyatt. Jocelyn Ingvoldson receives the Vanass Family Scholarship, also awarded by CRCSA. Our next scholarship is what we sort of consider to be a legacy scholarship. Don Mannion and ABC Gymnastics have made a legacy gift, and so along with CRCSA, we're able to provide a scholarship each year on behalf of ABC Gymnastics. So this year the recipient is Reese Ireland. Coon Rapids Lion Foundation, another one of our longtime supporters, gives a scholarship to Erica Jenkins. Jamie Jimenez receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Bradley Johnson receives a scholarship from Britt Sabo, the daughter of two of our longtime members, John and Judy Sabo, also given by Jacob Skjoth and CRCSA. Jennings Jermu receives the Jorgensen Construction Inc. and CRCSA scholarship. Mary T. Incorporated and CRCSA award a scholarship to Melissa Cabeda. Jim, I'll let you take the next one.
Thanks, Howard. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club is a longtime supporter of CRCSA. And Keith Cook is a Coon Rapids graduate who is very supportive of CRCSA. For years, Keith has generously donated to fund scholarships for deserving students, and we're happy to award this scholarship funded by both the Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and Keith Cook to Benedict Kalala.
Our next scholarship goes to Jackson Carey. This is from Federal Ammunition and CRCSA. Teresa Pearson Atchison and CRCSA award a scholarship to Salam Kasahan. And our next scholarship is awarded by our longtime members John and Judy Sabo. They've been in the association for years and years. It's been a pleasure working with them, and every year they give a scholarship. This year, they give the scholarship along with CRCSA to Peyton Kearney. Sydney Kerr receives the scholarship from Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA. Jim, I'm going to give you another one.
Sure. Another scholarship funded by longtime donor Keith Cook and CRCSA. We appreciate Keith's enthusiastic and long-term support. This scholarship goes to Andre Kemboy. Back to you, Howard.
Thanks, Jim. Craig Becker and CRCSA award a scholarship to Tyree Kemboy. Cody Killian receives the Adams Elementary PAC and CRCSA scholarship, and we're always happy to receive the support of all the elementary schools. Joseph Klinsing receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Noel Knotts receives a scholarship given by Joseph Tazinski. Detta Koenig receives a scholarship from All Seasons Garage Door and CRCSA. Alex Kowalczyk receives a scholarship given by alumnus Brent Gageby and CRCSA. Zenon Kresbach receives a scholarship from Relieve Care Incorporated. Lisa Krisnarich receives the American Legion Post 334 and CRCSA scholarship. Jim, I'm going to turn it back to you for the next group.
Thanks, Howard. The Landmark Student Transportation and Kotke's Bus Service and CRCSA award a scholarship to Nicholas Larson. Kaio Lee receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Marson Lee receives a scholarship funded by Carol Ossen and CRCSA. The next scholarship is another memorial scholarship, and it's a personal one for our CRCSA family. Our friend Dick Casey passed away last year. Richard M. Dick Casey Memorial Award this year goes to Sheila Legis Christman, and there will be others memorializing Dick Casey. Joseph Keller and CRCSA award a scholarship to Caitlin Lank. Another longtime supporter of CRCSA is the Fridley Lions Club. This year's recipient is Macy Lodato. We appreciate the Fridley Lions Club long-term support. This scholarship is funded by Kathy Casey in memory of her husband Dick Casey. Kathy Casey was also a longtime CRCSA member. This scholarship goes to Deja Lucas. As Howard mentioned, we always are appreciative of receiving support from the local elementary schools. This one is from the Hoover Elementary Parent Group and CRCSA, and the recipient is Carter Lund. Ariana Mack receives a scholarship funded by Donald and Vicky Funfar and CRCSA. Howard, I'll turn one over to you.
Well, thank you, Jim. The next scholarship is the Paul Perez Memorial Scholarship given on behalf of the Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League. Paul Perez was a real force in the Coon Rapids Athletic Association and other youth sports organizations. I personally coached with Paul and refereed with him in both baseball and basketball and football things. Unfortunately, Paul died in 2014 at the age of 59, and way too young. And his surviving spouse, Dawn, and the children, Valerie, Paul, and Stacy, have honored Paul with a scholarship in his memory. So this year, the Paul Perez Memorial Scholarship goes to Antonio Manuels.
Another scholarship in honor of our friend Dick Casey is from the family and friends of Kathy and Richard M. Dick Casey. This recipient is Sydney Marzak. Kayla Martin receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and the Coon Rapids Girls Fast Pitch Booster Club. David Forsberg and CRCSA provide a scholarship to Lisa Martinez Olguin. Rebecca Masteler receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and the Coon Rapids Girls Fast Pitch Booster Club. We'll have a video now in memory of Michaela Peters.
Hi, my name is Bill Peters. I'm Michaela Day Peters' dad. Michaela grew up, she had a mom, she had a sister named Sammy, and a brother named Ryan. Michaela started piano when she was 2 years old, and then she went to Coon Rapids High School. She then went into choir, and she did piano and choir through her whole life. And then when she went to school, she went to college at Bethel in a nursing program. And after 5 years, she decided that wasn't for her, so she graduated with a psychology degree and moved on from there. I want to just say thank you, and I want to bless the person who gets to receive this scholarship.
Michaela Peters was a Coon Rapids student who passed away way too soon. The Socha family, who are good friends of Michaela and her family, generously support CRCSA to fund the Socha Family Scholarship in memory of Michaela Peters. This year's recipient is Trinity May. The next scholarship is the Billy Harper Memorial. Billy Harper was a 2010 graduate from Coon Rapids High School, where he was a gifted athlete, honor student, and known for his terrific smile. Sadly, Billy passed away too soon at age 19 while a student at the University of Minnesota Duluth. CRCSA is honored to present the Billy Harper Memorial Scholarship to Lavelle McGrone. Howard, I'll turn one more over to you.
Okay. Well, this next scholarship is the Howard Courtmeyer Memorial Scholarship, and this shows that people named Howard can do great things, Jim. In all seriousness, Howard Courtmeyer was the long-term guidance counselor at Coon Rapids High School, and he started basically this association back in 1966. He started at the school in 1964. Howard retired in 1987, but stayed very active in the association. But as you mentioned earlier, the first year in 1966, there were 24 scholarships awarded for about $4,000. And it just shows with the dynamic leadership of the early founders of our association how we've been able to build on that through the years. And over the years, even after Howard retired, every year we'd have an annual fish fry in the spring, and he would fry up all the fish, and we just had a great time. And I remember going over and picking him up and driving him over to Bruce Frank's house where we'd have the fish fry. And so Howard Courtmeyer and Bruce Frank were great friends, and they were really the pillars of this association. And everything that we see here tonight can really be traced back both to Howard and Bruce. Howard died in 2013, and in his memory and his honor, the association awards a scholarship each and every year. And this year, the Howard Courtmeyer Memorial Scholarship goes to Brian Mendez. Back to you, Jim.
Thanks, Howard. The Sabo Family Scholarship in memory of Dick Casey goes to Jordan Mendoza. Thomas Mena receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Marshall Millis receives a scholarship from the United Educators Foundation and CRCSA. The next scholarship is the Brady McLean Memorial. Brady McLean was a 2012 graduate from Coon Rapids who excelled in STEP, or Secondary Technical Education Program. Sadly, Brady passed away in 2016. His family is honored to present scholarships in Brady's name to benefit students interested in furthering their education and developing skills in the area of technical education. The first recipient this year of the Brady McLean Memorial Scholarship is funded by parents Kelly McLean and John Lom, and is Tulia Momo. The second Billy Harper Memorial goes to Mustafa Monir. Yasin Montagna receives a scholarship from the Elva P. Otness Trust and CRCSA. Emily Motter receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Cindy Miller is a longtime CRCSA member. Cindy and members of the Landris family fund the Darlene and Edward Landris Memorial Scholarship, and the recipient is Tenzing Nepali. Erin Ness receives the Michael and Cindy Nordval and CRCSA Scholarship. The Robert Zurich and CRCSA Scholarship this year goes to Elaine Wynn. Hai Yen Win receives the Dylan Sorman and CRCSA Scholarship. The Tammy Bayer Memorial and Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League Scholarship goes to Ian Wynn. Ewan Wynn receives a scholarship from the Connexus Energy Foundation and CRCSA. Olivia Noyd receives a scholarship from Alex, Michael, Ron, and Jane Studeman in memory of Ray Custer and Ann Studeman. Gavin O'Hanlon receives a scholarship funded by Coon Rapids High School retired staff, Stephen Hengen, Joe Karolak, and Mike Ria. And Stephen and Mike are former CRCSA members. We mentioned earlier the Joe Miller Aloha Memorial Award, and we're going to have a video on that right now. Very touching video. Thanks, Cindy, for putting that together. Joe Miller was the husband of our friend and CRCSA colleague, Cindy Miller. Joe passed away way too soon at a very young age. He loved his family and Hawaii, and to honor Joe, his family created the Joe Miller Aloha Memorial Scholarship. This year's award goes to Ethan Olden. Madeline Olson receives a scholarship from Dow Win, CPA, and CRCSA. Awato Angach receives a scholarship funded by Kate Brasheko and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids Middle School Faculty Council and CRCSA fund a scholarship for Keely Oquist. Priscilla Osai receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625. The Coon Rapids High School National Honor Society and CRCSA has enjoyed a long and mutually beneficial relationship of working together to raise scholarship funds. Past fundraising activities have included Yankee candle sales and grocery bagging at Cub Foods. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, National Honor Society couldn't do anything like that this year, but we wanted to recognize our partnership and our appreciation for all that National Honor Society does. So I'm proud to announce that this year's National Honor Society Honorary Scholarship goes to Lana Pear. Michelle Pa receives a scholarship from Justin Coyne and CRCSA. Samantha Plessel receives a scholarship from Kathleen Pales, American Family Insurance, and CRCSA. Joseph Pluger receives a scholarship from Shirley and Merrill Golier Memorial Scholarship, Sue and Jeff Andrea, Patricia and Dean Hannenberg, and CRCSA. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA present a scholarship to Nicole Post. The Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA also present a scholarship to Samantha Plivoden. Another legacy scholarship, a brand new legacy scholarship, is the Marlis Dorff Legacy Scholarship. It is with great pleasure that the children of Marlis Dorff have established a legacy scholarship with CRCSA in her name. For over 30 years, Marlis was a dedicated teacher at Coon Rapids High School, first as a full-time business teacher and then in her later years as a substitute. In addition to a life focused on education, she was a voracious reader and enjoyed an enduring zest for travel, both domestically as well as internationally. Marlis always had a special affinity for Coon Rapids High School and was a longtime supporter of the scholarship fund. Consequently, her children, Scott Dorff, class of 75, Stacy Dorff Randall, class of 79, and Stephanie Dorff Libis, take great pride in providing this scholarship and establishing a perpetual legacy scholarship in Marlis's honor, with best wishes to this year's recipient as well as to those recipients in future classes. This year's recipient of the Marlis Dorff Legacy Scholarship is Andrew Racine. Hope Reinars receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Fast Pitch Association and Coon Rapids Girls Fast Pitch Booster Club. Carter Robinson receives a scholarship from James Page and Sharon Hall. Parker Roloff receives a scholarship from the Coon Rapids Cardinal Little League. Another Connexus Energy Foundation scholarship goes to Daniel Rupert. Kelly Rushmeyer receives a scholarship from the Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club and CRCSA. Cassie Rushmeyer receives a scholarship from the ABC Gymnastics and CRCSA. Kevin and Pat Wasik are longtime funders of CRCSA, and we appreciate their longtime support. The Kevin and Pat Wasik Scholarship in CRCSA this year is awarded to Sedenu Russ. The second Brady McLean Memorial and CRCSA STEP Scholarship goes to Nazanin Sajadi. Andrew Sandbacon receives the Coon Rapids VFW Post 9625 Scholarship. And I'll turn it back to you, Howard.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Our next scholarship is the Darlene and Edward Landris Memorial Scholarship. Darlene and Edward Landris are Cindy Miller's parents. This memorial scholarship given by the Landris family goes to Owen Sanders. Graphic Finishing Services Incorporated and CRCSA award a scholarship to Lydia Scheibe. Natalie Schultz receives a scholarship from Anoka Hennepin Education Minnesota and CRCSA. Hannah Schultz receives the scholarship from Livermore Girls ×3, Neil and Gail Livermore and CRCSA. Coon Rapids Swim and Dive Booster Club and Steinwall Incorporated award a scholarship to Megan Schultz. Mackenzie Schuneman is a recipient of the Bruce Peer Scholarship in memory of Jessica Ott, also awarded by CRCSA. Nora Sabahi receives a scholarship from Alex, Michael, Ron, and Jane Studeman in memory of Ray Kester and Ann Studeman. Myrna Shaban receives the Breitbach Family Dentistry and CRCSA Scholarship. Haley Shager is awarded a scholarship from Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Sabrine Shaya receives the Alyssa M. Antilla and CRCSA Scholarship. Ken and Pat Sundstrom, who are longtime donors to CRCSA and CRCSA, award a scholarship to Jack Simmer. Davika Singh is a recipient of the scholarship from Mississippi Elementary PTO and CRCSA. Our next scholarship is from the Historic family. Amy Stork has been a longtime member of our association, and she and her husband Scott and their children Libby and Rob have established a scholarship. This year it goes to Cade Skrodsky. Ruth Sokri receives a scholarship from Chuck and Pat McGee and CRCSA. Avis and Nick Brasheko have given a scholarship in memory of Arlene Zeithammer, also given by CRCSA. Nick and Avis have been active members in the association in the past. This year the scholarship goes to Noah Stein. Our next scholarship we need to talk a little bit about. Again, it's from our dear departed friend, Bruce Frank. Bruce Frank, in his estate plan, made a generous bequest to the association, which allows each year to have a scholarship awarded in his memory. Bruce died in 2018, but because of his generosity, this scholarship is going to go on in perpetuity. And I can tell you, when Bruce was our longtime president and I took over for Bruce, that was really a tough act to follow, I'll tell you, Jim. And everyone who's receiving a scholarship tonight owes an awful lot to Bruce Frank. And so now we're going to see a short video presentation regarding Bruce.
A longtime Coon Rapids resident and champion of kids and the community, has died. Bruce Frank passed away Sunday at the age of 77. Funeral services were held Wednesday at the Bethel Synagogue in St. Louis Park. In addition to his work for children, Bruce was also known from his days in radio and TV.
8 seconds. 3! Anderson for 3. Oh my!
Bruce spent years doing play-by-play announcing of high school sporting events for Quad Cities Community Television in the Anoka area. He was also the radio personality for Kano Radio, where he launched Coffee with the Coaches. But Bruce will most be remembered for what he gave back to the community, especially local students. He was active in the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association, raising funds for high school students heading to college. He was also the first executive director of the Anoka Hennepin Educational Foundation, a role he served in from 1993 to 2004.
He was the person who rallied others to get involved. He was the person who said, come on, I know this is important to you. Help me out at Anoka Halloween. Help me at the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast. Help me support the Kiwanis in selling, things at the Anoka County Fair. It was that role that Bruce had. He brought other people to the cause and to supporting students in our communities.
Those who knew him say they will remember him as a caring and generous man dedicated to our students and our future. Bruce is survived by his sister and brother, along with many other family members and friends.
This year's recipient of the Bruce Frank Legacy Scholarship is Rachel Sterling. CRCSA awards a scholarship to Galena Stewart. Hannah Stadoka receives the Coon Rapids Girls Basketball Booster Club and Coon Rapids Girls Lacrosse Booster Club Scholarship. The Phillipset Family Foundation and CRCSA award a scholarship to Faith Swore. Caitlin Severson receives the Coon Rapids Girls Basketball Booster Club and CRCSA Scholarship. Surprise Taylor receives a scholarship from Cardinal Tennis Association. Peyton Taylor is the recipient of a scholarship from Coon Rapids Girls Soccer Booster Club and CRCSA. Coon Rapids Gridiron Club and CRCSA award a scholarship to Ethan Tedrow. Victoria Tashanu receives the scholarship from CRCSA. The next scholarship is the Kofsky Family Scholarship, given in memory of Bruce Frank. I want to say a little bit about this. This is on behalf of Debbie Kofsky and Debbie's daughter Ashley Gerard. And of course, Ashley has been instrumental in the association the last few years, and Debbie has also been very active. So this year, the scholarship in Bruce Frank's memory, also awarded on behalf of CRCSA, goes to Alexandra Temerath. Sunny Tao is given the scholarship from Coon Rapids Gridiron Club and CRCSA. Well, I got to say a little bit about this next one, and this is kind of a special scholarship because after I stopped being the president of this organization a few years, the fellow to my left took over, Jim Best, and immediately things just improved a whole heck of a lot, I'll tell you that. And Jim is a special guy, and you heard him at the beginning tonight talk about all the other people that do things around here, but he really left out himself, and that was an omission that doesn't match things really to what's happened. Jim does a tremendous job, and it's a pleasure and honor to serve with him every day in the association. And we couldn't do it without you, Jim. Thank you so much for what you've done.
Thanks, Howard.
And Jim is a member of the Alina system, professional in their development department. And his colleagues, in his honor, because Jim is having a special birthday, decided that they would award a scholarship in his honor. So this year, in honor of Jim's 39th birthday, the Alina colleagues award a scholarship to Connor Tharp. Susan and Marcus Strom and Coon Rapids High School Girls Basketball Booster Club award a scholarship to Rowan Tom. Our next scholarship is from Gary and Alexandra Smith, Keller Williams Classic Realty, and CRCSA. Gary Smith has been our longtime vice president of the association and does a great job, and his daughter Alex has also worked with the association. So this year, through their generosity, we give a scholarship to Angela Tran. Brian Tran receives a scholarship given by Irmo Incorporated, Chuck Spida, and CRCSA. Next scholarship goes to Kate Tran. This is from Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club and CRCSA. Another of the Bruce Frank Legacy Scholarships. This one goes to Tara Tremmel. Sally Trong receives a scholarship from Rebecca Frost and CRCSA. Oluwata Meila Ray Toonbi receives a scholarship from Coon Rapids Lions Foundation. Akira Vang receives the Dennis and Gretchen Johnson and CRCSA scholarship. Steve and Shannon Powell and CRCSA are giving a scholarship to Chancey Vang. Trinity Vang receives a scholarship from one of our anonymous donors as well as CRCSA. Quentin Vo receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Our next scholarship is another one of our special memorial scholarships. This is the Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award, given in memory of Lori Brown. Lori Brown was a 1980 graduate of Coon Rapids High School. She was a 3-year member of the cross-country running team that was 5th at the state tournament in 1979. That was the highest finish for any Coon Rapids team. She was very inspirational to her teammates. She was a 3-year member, captain of the girls' track team. She set a school record in the half-mile run that lasted over 15 years. After graduating from Coon Rapids High School, she received a degree in soil science from the University of Minnesota and worked for the Soil Conservation Service, trying to protect the soil and water resources of Minnesota. Following graduation, she spent 2 years in the Philippines with the Peace Corps and traveled through China for 5 months, just after its borders had been opened up. She was a person of tremendous courage in her personal life, and unfortunately, she passed away from pancreatic cancer in June 2010. She's survived by her husband, Bob, children, Duncan, Erica, and parents were William and Norma Brown. At this point, we're going to be seeing 2 videos, one from her husband, Bob, and one from her son, Duncan.
Congratulations on being selected to receive this year's Lori Brown Courage Award Scholarship. Lori was a Coon Rapids alumnus who was a multi-sport athlete. Her favorite activity was cross country, and she excelled through grit, drive, and determination. Lori was taken from this world 10 years ago and far too soon by pancreatic cancer. We were all shocked that someone as healthy as Lori could be stricken with such a dreadful disease. But as with everything in her life, Lori faced her diagnosis and harsh treatments with courage. Her spirit lives on in her children, Duncan and Erica, and in the memories of all who knew her. We're sorry we won't get a chance to meet you this year, but hope that you will continue to thrive and show the spirit that inspired your coach to select you for this award.
Lori Brown was an exceptional mother, wife, daughter, and friend who left an impression on everyone she met. She displayed courage throughout many difficult times in her life and inspired those of us around her to do the same. I think we all feel that we are better people for having known her and having her in our life. That is why we are proud to be able to give the Lori M. Brown Memorial Courage Award Scholarship away to someone who also displays these amazing qualities. We hope that as you begin the next chapter in your life, you will continue to show courage and inspire those around you. Thank you.
This year's recipient of the Lori Brown Memorial Courage Award, also given by CRCSA, is Sydney Vossen. Justine Vu receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Our next scholarship is given by Olaf Sabo, who is the son of John and Judy Sabo and is also a U.S. Coast Guard captain. And this is given in memory of his friend and neighbor, Dick Casey. I just also want to say a little bit about Dick Casey. Dick was a great member of our association, a good friend. And both Dick and Kathy were longtime members of the association. And in addition to what everything else has been said about Dick, I talked a little bit earlier about the method we use for awarding the scholarships, and we total up the point totals, and so much on academics and so much on school activities. Well, we were having trouble kind of just fitting this into the right formula. A number of years ago, Dick came up with a formula. We called it the Casey method. And that helped us group the point totals and kind of streamlined our process of awarding the scholarship. So in addition to being a great friend and member of the association, we remember the Casey method. So on behalf of Dick Casey, Olaf Sabo gives the scholarship to James Vu. Our next scholarship, I also want to say a couple words about. Jim mentioned Bob McCann a little bit earlier, but Bob's been a member of our association for many years, and he runs a company called Mailing Solutions. And in the old days of the association, when we mailed out our stuff, we had to haul it to the post office and put regular stamps on, and took a lot of time. And Bob has generously given of his company's services to do these mailings for us, and it just streamlines things an awful lot. And so Bob has also this year generously given a scholarship, and this year the scholarship goes to Julie Vu. CRCSA awards a scholarship to Sydney Waters, and Alexa Whitaker receives the Gerhardt Funeral Home and CRCSA scholarship. The next scholarship is a memorial scholarship. It's in memory of Joanne Hammergren, also given by CRCSA, and it's given by her family. It's called the Swinging for Scholarships, and it's got a golf orientation. Tim Anderson, one of the family members, is a golf pro at Bunker Hills, and Joanne Hammergren lived in Coon Rapids. She passed away in 2009, but she was a friend to many, and in her memory we give this scholarship every year. So this year, the recipient of the Swinging for Scholarships in memory of Joanne Hammergren Scholarship is Kylie Wilson. CRCSA awards a scholarship to Caleb Winter. Now our next scholarship is given by one of our long-term donors, but there's a little bit of a twist on it this year. The Alpha Rho chapter of the Delta Kappa Gamma Society International has been a long-time donor to our association. They're an educational fraternity. They give a scholarship to someone who's going into education. And this year, one of their founding members, Dorothy Hendrickson, passed away. And at this time, we're going to see a little video that will tell us a little bit more about Dorothy.
We are co-chairs of the Grant and Aid Committee of the Alpha Rho chapter of Delta Kappa Gamma International. DKG, a global organization, promotes professional and personal growth of women educators. Our local chapter was organized in 1975. Today, we honor the memory of Dorothy Jean Hendrickson, a founding member of Alpha Rho who had a special dream. Dorothy chose to be a public school teacher and taught first grade at Soderberg Elementary most of her life. Dorothy's dream was to leave a generous monetary gift to our committee to serve as stewards of her financial legacy. Congratulations to the deserving recipient of our 2021 grant awarded to a student planning a career in education. Dorothy would be proud of the fruition of her dream. She was a great teacher and a grand lady.
So this year's recipient of the Alpha Rho Chapter Delta Kappa Gamma Society International Scholarship in memory of Dorothy Hendrickson, who was a great teacher, is Natalie Winter. The next scholarship is the Edith Fraser Memorial Scholarship, and this is a scholarship we give out every year in honor of Edith Fraser, who was a longtime librarian and media specialist in the Anoka-Hennepin system. Donated by James Fraser. This year, the recipient is Ryan Wolf. And I think our last Dick Casey Memorial Scholarship from Kathy Casey, Ed Cadix, and Pat Casey, given to Jacob Yang. Our next scholarship is the Heather McGarry Traeger and Mark Traeger Scholarship in memory of Bill McGarry. Heather McGarry graduated from Coon Rapids High School in 1988. After graduating from college in 1992, her father passed away in June of 1993. And the scholarship she contributes is in honor of her dad, who she said made her education meaningful and possible. This year, the scholarship is awarded to Justin Yang. Nathaniel Yang receives a scholarship from CRCSA. Natalie Novak, in the class of 1979, has awarded a scholarship in tribute to the class of 1979 memorial. And this year, the scholarship goes to Reagan Zeman. Grace Zimmerman is also the recipient of the Stork Family Scholarship, also given on behalf of CRCSA. So Jim, I think we've now come to the end of our scholarships. Have you got any more that you can pull out of your hat there?
That is it.
Okay. Well, it's been another great year, and I want to just say that to all the graduates, congratulations. I mean, you've managed to navigate perhaps the worst challenging period in our nation's history when you think of the COVID-19 pandemic and the George Floyd murder. What a world we've lived in, and hopefully next year we'll be back in the auditorium and giving out those scholarships. But I know as a graduating senior, you must feel that you really lost a lot this year. There were many activities that you couldn't participate in, but you'll never forget this year, and I think as you look back at this 10 or 20 years from now, you'll just be amazed that our country went through this process, and we did get through it. And so you may see that you're getting this scholarship and you're glad to receive it, but none of this happens just by accident. It only happens because people make it happen. And this community makes it happen every year. And so my message to the graduates is that your community has responded to you, and I hope not right now, but in the future, you will give back to whatever community you're in. Education is really the great equalizer in life. If you get an education, you go to school, you work hard, and then you are be in a position later to give back to your community. So I just hope that everybody appreciates what everybody's done tonight, and that next year we'll be back in the auditorium and seeing everybody. For those of you watching at home, if you like what you see, we'd love to have more people in the association. We're volunteers that put this together. On the screen, you'll see that our email address is crcsa1966@gmail.com, or you can reach us at box 48144, Coon Rapids 55448. And we're also very willing to accept donations. You can make a donation by check to our Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association at that address, or you can make an online donation through givemin.org, Amazon Smile, or PayPal. And if you use PayPal, you can use crcsa1966 at gmail.com. Another thing you can do to help the association and award more scholarships next year is to bring your cans to the recycling bin located in the Coon Rapids High School parking lot. Every dollar we get from those cans goes to awarding more scholarships. So if you can support in that way, please do that. So Jim, I guess I'll turn it back to you for some closing remarks.
Thank you, Howard. Good job. And if I may ask, as Bruce Frank sometimes requested, for a bit of latitude, I might also add that Howard, when I took over for Howard, the bar was set equally high. And you've done a great job for the association, Howard. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, that brings us to a close. This year's scholarship of over $242,000 brings the grand total for the 56 years of the Coon Rapids Community Scholarship Association to over $4.6 million. Thank you again to our generous donors, without whom this would not be possible, to our friends at CTN, and to everyone who made this Scholarship Awards night possible. I'd also like to extend one more thank you to all the CRCSA members for their continued efforts. And on behalf of my CRCSA colleagues, especially my co-host Howard Helgen, congratulations to all the students. We're all very proud of you and extend our best wishes for a successful future. Thank you for watching, and good night.